I just watched Batman Soul of the Dragon. It's the new Batman movie. It came out, I think, today, maybe yesterday. It's terrible. Don't watch it. It sucks.
Okay, that's like it's like an original plot that they tried, isn't it?
Yeah, like it, yeah.
I know it's like based off of like a common Batman like archetype. It's like him meeting up with his formal martial arts like
it's mostly
disciples.
It's pretty much a Bruce Lee movie, but made it get animated and just put Batman in there.
I see.
It's pretty rough.
Fair. Fair.
At one point, Lady Shiva does say that if she had a time machine, she would throw baby Hitler into a volcano. That was a pretty good line.
Fair. Understandable.
But yeah.
Yeah.
Welcome to Screen Weens.
Yeah.
The DC only podcast.
Yeah. I mean, you gotta do it while they're still around, you know?
You think they're going somewhere?
I don't think DC's going anywhere, but apparently, like, a lot of insiders have said that they're, like, there's definitely, like, some change coming with, like, the comic industry, just in general. So, like,
glad I got a job at a comic shop.
Huh?
Glad I got a job at a comic shop.
Yeah, so I don't know. Supposedly, like, the rumor is that they're gonna, like, stop making monthly comics in June. I don't know if that means, like, just, like, physical copies, or if they're gonna, like, make as many, because they've got, like, a lot of titles. Like, maybe too many, that they feel like they're oversaturating the market or something. But,
I mean, that's true. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see.
Yes. Yes, we shall.
So, the Scott Pilgrim, the movie, the game, was re-released, like, today. And I didn't even know this was happening until today. And I saw Edgar Wright, like, retweet it, and I'm like, what the fuck? I just haven't been paying attention. That game's awesome, so I'll probably pick that up.
Is it on Steam? Or is it on... Cause, like,
I know it's on PC. From the trailer, it said PC. So I would assume...
I don't think it... I think I looked today, but I didn't see it on Steam. Let me see. No. Does not appear to be on there.
Oh, no. Oh, so through, like, Scott Pilgrim game PC. Oh, no. Oh, no. No, it's through Epic Games.
Oh.
Which is, like, fine. Epic Games is, I just have to have the launch, whatever. It's only $15. That's not too bad. I was expecting like 20, 25.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah. What else happened this week? I've barely watched any movies this week.
Same.
I was reading a lot. I finished Wolf and White Van. For those who aren't in the know, we run a monthly reading podcast, but we did the first episode and then skipped a month because of the world. But we're back on for this month. So I finished. I'm halfway through the second book, though.
Oh, okay.
I've just been playing some board games, too, you know. I don't think I've watched, like, anything besides the new Batman movie. And, you know, the stuff we had to watch this week.
Yeah.
We did watch Logan.
Oh, nice.
So we're done with X-Men, pretty much. Logan's awesome. I love Logan.
I've heard good things.
You should watch it. It's really, really, I really, really love it. It's like my fourth favorite superhero movie after like 3 Spider-Man movies.
Oh, nice. I'll watch it eventually.
And then me and Hinata watched this movie called The World of Us. That's been on my list for a while. It's a South Korean movie, like coming of age story about these two, like grade school girls. They're probably in like 4th grade. I knew about it because I had a couple friends that recommended it to me, but Bong Joon-ho also really likes it. So I'm like, ooh, I watched it. It's pretty good. Pretty good. It's a directorial debut. And for that, it's pretty strong. They did a follow-up film that isn't like in the same continuity. It's not like a sequel. It's just kind of spiritually the same kind of vibe. I think it's called The House of Us, that I've heard is equally as good. So I'm excited to watch that eventually. Also, my nose is really red today. Don't like that. Like looking at the video, I'm like, what the fuck?
Yeah, I can see that. It is what it is. There you go.
Hello. I'm the Nostalgia Critic. We should watch another Nostalgia Critic movie. I kind of miss it.
No. Not anytime soon. Not unless we get a bag episode and it has a Nostalgia Critic thing on it.
I'm worried that like I'm gonna open the bag and it'll just be things that I've picked already. I don't think To Boldly Flee is in there, but it might be. If it is, I'll just toss it aside. No, we'll watch To Boldly Flee again. No,
we'll just watch it different. We'll watch like the other two or whatever, since they're like both together the length of To Boldly Flee, probably.
I think about, yeah.
Ugh.
I got,
that was awful.
Excited for my mouth to just turn blue on the podcast. I got the new Taco Bell Midnight Berry Freeze.
What?
Not a sponsor. Yet. You see we're at like 107 subscribers?
Whoa.
Yeah. Once I stop being lazy, I have so many videos ideas. I'm just so fucking lazy.
When does the new Scooby-Doo movie come out?
February... what is it called? The Sword and the Scoob. Good name. The Sword and the Scoob comes out February 23rd.
Oh, okay.
Hopefully I'll fucking make that Scooby-Doo ranking list before then. I keep going like, I'm gonna make it. And I have the script done for my James Bond ranking list. So I'm just like, And I also want to do top 10 animated Batman movies and then top 5 animated Superman movies, because a lot of the Superman animated movies aren't very good.
Yeah.
And in general, Batman has a lot more movies. It's really funny because, like, even though Wonder Woman's really big in the comics still, and those are the big 3, Wonder Woman's had 2 animated movies. So has Green Lantern. Green Lantern has the same number of animated movies.
I feel like they operate solely on a, like, mainstream popularity basis.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like that's why, like, there's less Superman movies than there are, like, Batman movies. Because even though, like, Superman, in terms of, like, sales, surpasses Batman, his public perception and the overall just pop culture surrounding Batman in the modern day is a lot more than Superman, I feel like. At least over here. Well,
it makes sense. Like, it's obviously that's the reason, like, the new Batman movie is not a Batman movie. It's mostly just a Richard Dragon movie. That's the guy's name in it. But Batman's just in it. He's like a side character. He's like a secondary character. But they couldn't just call it Richard Dragon Kung Fu Master, which is the original comics name, I'm pretty sure.
Oh, huh.
It's like...
Interesting.
Yeah, that movie's fucking bad. They had Michael J. White, or Jai White? I think it's Jay White. He voiced Bronze Tiger in it, and that was a neat little thing because he played Bronze Tiger in the Green Arrow show in Arrow. So it's like, well, at least they brought him back for people that like that bad show, but... And I like him, but... Also, James Wong, I think that's his name, was in it. He's like the guy that plays like Poe's dad in Kung Fu Panda. He's in a billion things.
Okay. Those
were the good parts. And the throwing baby Hitler in a volcano. That was a good line. I've decided that I'm gonna get into comics again because I read comics occasionally. I've been trying to get more into comics. Plus, now I work at a comic store.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna try to read. Hopefully, before next week's episode, I'm gonna try to read the Death of Superman storyline, and also Dark Knight Returns, and maybe some others. I don't know. We'll see how much time I have. I have to finish my book, and I have to watch whatever we're doing.
Yeah, I'm actually doing a similar kind of thing. I started reading so there was the 6-issue miniseries called The Man of Steel that eventually became like the full kind of like Superman comics for a while.
Oh, okay.
And eventually led into the Death of Superman. But yeah, there's like a 6-issue miniseries that's kind of like Superman's year one, so to speak, like his origin story for modern readers that comes from around that same time period.
Okay, sick.
So I read that miniseries this week.
How was it?
And it was decent. I can kind of see why it's not as like well regarded as like
year one
is, because it's like I feel like it's got a lot of character in it, but the way it doesn't have any sort of like climactic point within it.
Yeah, I feel it.
It sets things up, but it feels more like a setup to the like series that they did after, as opposed to its own thing.
Okay. Reminds me of one of the movies we're going to be talking about today.
Oh. Yeah, I could see that. But yeah. So, it's decent. Like, I enjoyed it, but it definitely could have been better.
Okay. Interesting.
But
yeah,
I'm interested to read the full series to see, because maybe it'll change my mind. Maybe, like, they'll go certain places with, like, the plot lines that were set up and kind of, like, make me feel differently about it when I go back through it in the future or whatever.
Yeah, I feel it. We shall see. Yeah, I want to read. There's just so much stuff in the world, that I want to absorb.
I know what you mean.
I just wish I didn't have to sleep. I just want to do things.
I know what you mean.
And then we're gonna die. And what will have been our impact on the world? Nothing. Wait, we have screen wings.
There we go.
I just, sometimes I just think about the inevitability that we're just gonna die with no impact on anyone around us. Just kidding. I'm gonna become a god.
I mean, yeah. It
is what it is.
So what?
Huh? It is what it is.
Yeah.
Anyway, today at work was rough. Almost.
Was
it? Tomorrow's my last day at that job, though.
Oh, okay.
But anyway,
and then you go.
And then I go
full time to the comic shop.
Or full. I don't know how much I'll be working. We'll see. Maybe I just want to work full time on Screen Weens. We gotta get bankrolled. I gotta find like a sugar daddy or something. I'm like, I need you to give me money so I can work on Screen Weens.
Any creepy old men watching this, hit London up.
Hey, daddy-o.
Oh my god. Speaking of which, that reminds me of, did you see the shit with Army Hammer?
I read, I don't know what was said. I saw he left a movie with like J-Lo in it because of something. I don't know what happened. Was he being creepy again? I feel like this happens every couple months with Army Hammer.
Yeah, he kind of went over into the like eccentric dom like territory where it's like too much, and apparently he's into like cannibalism. So, yeah, it's just kind of like, what the fuck?
Who was he saying this to? Like what?
Somebody on Twitter who was apparently one of his slaves, like, came out and posted like these messages with him, and then apparently like his ex-girlfriend came out and said, she's like, I don't know if this is true, but I would not be surprised if this was true. So of course Army Hammer released a statement denying it, and he's like, no, I walked off the movie because I need to take care of my kids in this turbulent times of me being accused of such bullshit.
So if I want Screen Wings to get off the ground, I should call up Army Hammer. Hey!
I don't know.
You want to eat part of my leg?
All I know is that I'm a whole lot less excited for Call Me By Your Name 2.
Yeah. They need to just recast him. Timothy Chalamet and Robert Pattinson.
There we go.
Yeah. I don't think I've done anything else this week. So let's get on to question.
Woo!
From Pierre. He was very sad he missed last week. But we had Eugene to fill in. Question 1. You are chosen to create the story for a new Superman movie, but it must cross over with One Piece. What will be the movie's plot?
I mean, obviously, I think there would need to be some sort of, like, dimensional pocket that takes Superman to One Piece's world, because obviously One Piece doesn't take place on, like, Earth. It's its own, like, weird little planet that has, like, multiple moons. Maybe, like, I don't know, somewhere in the deep corners of the DC universe or something. And yeah, basically, Superman can go there and, I don't know, like, try to overthrow their world government.
He wants to be the Pirate King.
Oh man, Luffy would not like that. But I don't know if there would be much Luffy could do about it, honestly.
Who would win the fight?
Luffy or Superman?
Yeah. I don't know how strong Luffy is. It's been 1,000 chapters.
Yeah, but it's got a very, like, kind of grounded, like, they have, like, the power cap introduced, like, halfway through the show.
Oh, okay.
So it's, like, it's not like Dragon Ball Z, where it's just, like, infinite power, just slowly over a period of time. And it's not like Superman eventually going to, like, Superman Prime status.
I think, instead, Monkey D. Luffy should be sucked through a dimensional wormhole and show up in Metropolis. And he becomes a reporter at the Daily Planet. And Lois Lane starts to fall in love with Monkey D. Luffy because of his beautiful smile. And then Superman starts to go crazy from, like, radiation poisoning from being in the yellow sun too long. So then Monkey D. Luffy, along with Cyborg and Lex Luthor, those two in specific, must take down Superman and return him to his natural state. And then at the end, they're like, we can't do this. We gotta get him away. And that's when Monkey D. Luffy's like, oh, I got this. And he tackles him into the wormhole, and they go back to the One Piece planet where the sequel will be set up.
There we go. Perfect.
Question 2. Are there any pieces of media that you wish got a sequel but will probably never get one? Howard the Duck 2.
Oh, absolutely. Well, not to that specifically, but let me think about this. Obviously, Spider-Man 3 should have gotten Spider-Man 4.
That's true.
That John Malkovich Vulture and that Bruce Campbell Mysterio. What the hell? You're missing out. What do you think?
Memories of Murder 2.
I think, dude, if Bong Joon-ho suddenly decided to do a follow-up to Memories of Murder, present Day. That would be cool. I would like that. But let me see. Oh, I wish this one's kind of sad. I wish that we got that actual third Addams Family 3 movie before the actor playing Gomez died.
I feel it. I was gonna say because it didn't do very well, so this probably isn't gonna happen. But I'm really sad we're not gonna get a sequel to Suspiria. Probably.
Oh, that yeah. If we could get a sequel to that, I mean, that would be great. Hopefully in the next couple years, it'll pick up a cult status online.
Hopefully, because I love that movie.
And then, because we don't need a sequel now. They can wait.
Also, School of Rock 2.
School of Rock 2 would be cool. Would you want it to be a new School of Rock, where Jack Black's teaching a new group of kids, or do you want it to be the old kids return, or do you want it to be somewhere in the middle?
I want it to be the one of the old kids is running the School of Rock now, and Dewey Finn is retired, and he's just hanging out, and they find him in a bar one day. They're like, "We need you back." And they're like, there's a new school in town. It's the school of jazz or something. And it's they have to do a head-to-head competition where it's rock versus the school of metal. The school of dubstep. There's a bunch of EDM artists, and you have to play.
I really want Dewey to still live with Ned,
but this time they're lovers.
Oh, of course.
They finally figured it out.
Yeah, no, they just needed to get Sarah Silverman out of the mix.
That's all that was needed. Okay. And then the last question. There it is. Question 3. Do you have any questions for me, Pierre? I assume Pierre will answer these in the comments below. So if you're watching this on YouTube, look at the comments. If you're not on YouTube, go to YouTube and look at this answer to this question from Thomas to Pierre. Go!
What's your favorite Goosebumps story, Pierre? There. That was my question.
It's probably going to be the one about the banana. Pierre, you wanna play the Dragon Ball Z card game with me? Pierre, what is the best superhero that does not exist yet? Pitch the next big superhero. We haven't gotten a good one in a while. When was the last good new superhero? I'm trying to think. Maybe like... I don't even fucking know.
Superior Spider-Man. There.
I was thinking that wasn't just an off-brand version of another character.
No, that's the period in the comics where Doctor...
Oh, I know.
Yeah.
But I mean, like, one that's not just tied
sure.
to like, not just another version of Spider-Man with somebody else. But yeah. Okay, thank you for the questions, Pierre. And thank you for answering the questions, Pierre. Now, we are going to talk about The Death of Superman from 2018. This is directed by Sam Liu. He directed, or at least he co-directed Batman Year One. He directed Soul of the Dragon, the one I just watched. He's one of like the big DC animated directors. It's him and like Jay Oliva does a lot of them too. He's incredibly hit or miss with his portfolio for the animated movies.
Oh, okay. Huh.
Like, some of them are great. Some of them are extremely bad. He did Batman and Harley Quinn. Which, like, the writing was the problem with that one, but the direction also could have used some work. But, yeah. So, Death of Superman follows Superman. It's in the DC animated universe timeline that started with Flashpoint Paradox and ended last year. It's toward the end of it.
Directly follow the comics, but it hits like the plot beats.
Yeah.
Like once Doomsday is introduced into that story, it's pretty much the same. But aside from that, it's pretty different.
Yeah, they just try to. I think they do a pretty good job though of like making it.
Yeah,
tie in well. I don't know if it was like confusing to you at all, or if it was just like Justice League's doing Justice League things.
Pretty much that.
Which is like, as long as you have the smallest inkling of like what the Justice League is, you're probably fine. That's what I'm like. A lot of the DC animated universe feels that way. Like you're fine to just watch them out of order. Some of them are like direct follow-ups. So, like, just watching the last one in the series, which is Justice League Dark Apocalypse War, you might be lost a little bit, but besides that, you'd probably be fine. I know I watched Batman Bad Blood, I think it was called, before the other Batman movies in this timeline, and that got me a little confused, because it was, like, the third in the Batman only movies for that. I think it was Son of Batman, Batman vs. Robin, Batman Bad Blood, and then Batman Hush might be in it. I can't remember.
Oh, okay. Because I know the Hush made like differences to the comics too.
Yeah, which I'm fine. Like the different. I'm pretty much fine with making. I don't give a shit as long as like you make a good movie. I don't do whatever you want. If I want to read the comic, I will read the comic.
I think they're just interesting to note. I'm not judging the film.
Oh no, I
because of it. Yeah,
I don't think Hush is like great as a movie, or maybe I think the comic. That's one of the comics I have read. Hush is pretty good as a comic. It's not incredible. I think it is a good starting off point though, and that's kind of what I did.
I need to like reread Hush because I read like the first half of the like trade paperback, so I probably read like a few issues worth of it. But I really wasn't quite digging it.
I feel it. I think the second half's better.
Okay, I hear Heart of Hush is. I hear a lot of people say that one's better though, which is like the follow-up story.
I'll have to check that one out. There's so many comics. So many comics.
I know. I've got a big file full of just like Batman and Superman comics on here.
Yeah, that you bought.
Yeah, of course.
From the store.
Mm-hmm.
So, Death of Superman. This was not necessarily like my first entry in like this animated universe, but it was one of the early ones because I kind of watched them out of order because I didn't really know they were all part of one continuity. And I really, really dug this one when it first came out. I think I've seen it twice now, maybe 3 times. And then I think I watched Reign of the Supermen pretty close to when it was released, like a couple of days after it came out. And that one, we'll talk about that one when we get there. So yeah, Death of Superman, a lot of it is just kind of stories about how Superman saves people and how he's like this mythical hero. I really like those kind of superhero movies where it's just like, look, he's this mythical hero, and then he like fails or he does something and people get hurt. And that's my jam. I like failures in superhero movies more than anything else. Like if they come back and win in the end, that's cool. But I just want to see like the deconstruction of what a superhero is in the movie. And I think Death of Superman really tries to do that in a lot of turns. I really like, I can't remember, I think his name's like Bebo or Bibbo or something. He's like the burly guy who runs the restaurant. He's like, hey, Superman's my best friend!
Oh yeah, he's good. He had some good like voice acting delivery there when he's like mourning on the dock.
I feel it. And
or like praying to God.
I think he's one of the better parts of the follow-up as well. The follow-up, I will say, like, I do have a lot of problems with the follow-up, but the storyline surrounding like him and the regular people, I think is one of the stronger aspects of that movie. Because that's also one of my favorite like tropes in like superhero movies is like regular people being like, we're gonna help the superhero.
Yeah.
You mess with one of us, you mess with all of us.
I feel it.
I just love Spider-Man so much, though.
Spider-Man's good.
What else happened? And then a lot of this movie is surrounding the fact that Clark Kent and Lois Lane have been going out, and she also has a connection with Superman, but he still hasn't told her, and he's planning on telling her.
Creepy.
Yeah, I mean, I get it, but yeah, like looking at it from an outsider, it's like a little bit. But then he eventually tells her. I really like that scene. It's a little over the top. It's like my last secret. But overall, I think the tone of the DC animated universe can be kind of off sometimes. But this movie in particular, I think nails the humor pretty well. And like kind of the hokiness but tenderness that I want to see in like comic adaptations. Like some of it's a little over the top, but overall it's like, That's pretty cool. That's pretty sad. So he like... Go ahead. What were you going to say?
Oh, yeah. No. I don't know. I was just chiming in. Like, yeah. So he slips the note. Says, my last secret, and flies off. You're eating now, so I guess I'll keep going. So, yeah, he flies off. Lois Lane doesn't get the chance to, like... Oh, yeah, she opens it, says I love you. And she's like, oh no, he flies away. And she's like, I didn't get to say it back. And then we cue to Doomsday, who has crash landed on Earth after whacking a spaceship on his way down. Spaceship will be important in part 2. Because it features an astronaut who is very dependent on Superman. He is like... He's just like, don't worry, guys. Superman...
Like, an asteroid appears out of a portal, and it's like 5 seconds away from him, and he's like, we'll be fine. Superman's... He can make it. And they all die.
Yeah, even after, like, everybody's, like, gone down, like, they've flown out into the vacuum of space. He's, like, in this delusional fever dream state. He's like, Soups, I knew you'd came for me.
Which I think is another... interesting idea when you're dealing with superheroes. There's a lot of things where it's like, he's invincible, he's unstoppable, he will save everyone. Which is
when clearly he's still
he's one guy. He may be extremely fast and extremely strong, but he is just one guy.
Yeah. Speaking of which, I wonder if that lady ever got out of that car. We never
probably. I assume. I really like that bridge fight. There's a bridge fight with Darkseid. Yeah. I will say that as much as I like rag on like 3D animated cars, I think that this had like 5 more years than the Batman movies to like have better effects. But I think they were used pretty well for like a lot of moving scenes and stuff. I think because there's a lot of like cars being thrown at each other and sliced in half. I think they looked pretty decent. I thought they flowed a lot better with the 2D animation in this one. They weren't as noticeable, which is weird because I think that they're really noticeable in the second movie.
Huh. I didn't notice them, but
you really love 3D cars.
I just don't give a shit at this point. I'm just like, whatever. Cars be 3D.
Cars be 3D, though. I feel it. But yeah. So Lex Luthor's in this. What do you think of the voice acting for like the characters in this? Because like I've seen most adaptations of these characters.
I actually really like this Lex Luthor for the most part. I think he can be a little bit too wormy, if you kind of catch my drift. With his presentation, which I think overall works for the character, but I feel like
do you recognize that voice?
No, I don't.
That's Dwight from The Office. That's Rainn Wilson.
Oh, I don't watch The Office.
He's in Super.
Yeah, but Super. Okay. Yeah, I think he worked very well for the voice of Lex Luthor. The only comment I really had on like what like I think my ideal Lex Luthor voice would be like something kind of like this, but with like just a little bit more of that like intimidation factor to it, you know, just a hint more. But because I feel like he should be a menacing character, and I never really got the menacing vibe. From this Lex.
I feel it. I would tend to agree. I think this is one of my favorite like Lex Luthor. I just think it should be a little like deeper of a voice, maybe. I don't know, because it's a little like I'm Lex Luthor. Which I think works for this like scenario and stuff. I think it's fine though.
I agree.
I really do. I think that it's Jerry O'Connell that does Superman in this movie. He does it for this whole anime. He's probably my favorite voice for Superman. I don't think Superman necessarily has to have like an iconic voice though. I think that in general it should just kind of sound like a regular guy. At least in my interpretation for Superman, because he should be like for me, he should be like an everyday guy. He's like big and muscular, but overall, he's a regular guy. Mm-hmm. So I'm fine with this one. Those are the two like main voices. So I will say,
I thought. Go ahead. Oh, I was gonna say, I think Lois's voice was really good. Mm-hmm. I really liked who they had for like Flash and Hal.
It's Nathan Fillion for Diana. Green Lantern.
Oh, was it? That
he does Green Lantern in a lot of things. It's Rosario Dawson for Wonder Woman. In general, they get a lot of like decently stacked people for these movies. I can't remember. You've never seen Criminal Minds, right?
I've seen like 2 to 3.
One of the main characters in that show is the voice of Cyborg.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, like in general, they just have a lot of stuff. They have a lot of people in these movies, and they're usually good. I really like the voice acting in most of this universe.
Yeah. No, I feel it.
When I first watched this movie, it was like before I watched a lot of Superman things. I really didn't like the way that Superman looked. Specifically his neck. Because his neck's like this. It's... Yeah. Now, coming back to it, I'm completely fine with it because I've watched so many worse... I've seen so many worse looks for Superman. So I'm like, this is fine. He just has a huge neck. That's what Kryptonians have. They just have gigantic necks. Whatever.
There you go.
I think that his neck is even more noticeable when he in Reign of the Supermen, though. When he has the long hair, I don't know why. Yeah. It just, like, highlights it. Probably because it's black hair, so it's, like, just a black background for this big pyramid neck. Anyway, I'm going to work out my neck, just only my neck, so it looks like that.
There you go. Perfect.
And in general, I like this costume for Superman. A lot of this Superman just feels reminiscent of, like, the 40s, like, the very original, like, animated shorts, but updated, if you know what I mean. Kind of like how they did it when, like, Superman Returns. A little bit. And then Reign of the Superman's just like, let's go crazy!
Yeah, it does go a little crazy in,
let's give him a gun!
Yeah. But, yeah. So, basically, yeah, Doomsday comes down. I feel like they did a pretty good job at getting across how just, like, he reminds me a lot of, like, Jason Voorhees, where he's just this destructive force that's, like, of a slasher villain. And this movie really sells that point. Yeah. They have, like, a lot of, like, blood to
this is
touch upon.
I think that, like, sometimes I think the edginess in the DC animated universe can be a little overbearing, but when used correctly, like in this movie, I think it can really add a lot of, like, emotional, like, impact in certain characters like him, because it's like, oh, he's destroying people.
Yeah. No, he really goes fucking ham.
And then
it's just like
the entire Justice League gets just wiped out by him, pretty much. Including Hawk.
Yeah.
Good old like, Hawk. Damn. Which, it's pretty intense. And I think I really like a lot of the fight scenes in this. I think they utilize each character's powers pretty decently for the most part. I will say that I think his character, like, Doomsday's character design is fine. And I do kind of like the mohawk, but at one point it's just like this piece that's off of him. Like, it's his eye that gets broken first, and then just the mohawk's out, and that looks so fucking stupid. Just for, like, I think it's only for, like, 30 seconds, but it just looks so dumb. He looks like Spike from Gremlins, but he jacked.
Oh, okay. Huh. Yeah, no, I don't remember that particular moment, but I'll have to, like, go back and look for it.
And then Superman starts fighting him. He gets wrecked. He gets, like, destroyed for a bit. And then Lex Luthor comes out and he's like, I have a robot! I'm going to get you! And then he does, like, do a significant amount of damage, but he's like, but I gotta get a piece so I can harvest your DNA, or, you know, whatever the fuck Lex Luthor wants to do with all his free time. And then the dude wrecks him and almost kills Lex, but then Superman's like, I'm gonna save my lover. It happens. It's gotta have happened at least once.
Oh, 100%.
That's like...
But Superman's got that fucking so mind-erasing kiss.
There's so much sexual tension between them. So much.
Oh, absolutely.
But yeah, Lex Luthor almost dies. Superman saves him. Superman's gonna die again. And then Lois Lane is like, I'm gonna fucking throw a rock at this thing. And then tells Superman she loves him. And then he's like, I gotta save her. So he pretty much puts all his power like all his remaining power into like one last punch and snaps Doomsday's neck with like a punch, and Doomsday like gut punches him one final time, and they both die. Seemingly. At the end of the movie, Superman is taken away. He goes missing, and the rocket ship that brought him to Earth is also missing. And then we see the silhouette of the Man of Steel himself in the sky, and then he flies away and like cuts to credits. And we won't know what happens for another year, or if you're Thomas, 20 minutes later or something like that. I don't know how I don't know what the time difference was before you watched the second movie.
Oh, well, I was aware of like what happened in the comics anyway. So.
I'm recording again.
Welcome back.
So you were aware of what happens. I think everyone was. It's kind of, it's Superman, they're going to bring him back.
Yeah.
But as a story by itself, like, I really like it.
The death?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that I think it opens up a lot of really interesting possibilities for a cool world, like, to be built around it. And then they never just do that. They're like, no, time to bring Superman back.
Yeah.
In general, like, I get it. I get wanting to bring back superheroes you've killed off, but there's so many interesting ideas that come from killing off a major hero. And there's so many huge implications that can just be so interesting to work with, and it never happens.
Yeah.
I mean, it happens, but it doesn't happen enough.
Yeah, and if it happens, it's only for, like, a section of the continuity or for, like, a small mini-series, and then it's just, like, never explored any deeper.
The comic continuity, I feel like, gets reset every 10 years or something like that.
It gets reset pretty often. Always got to do those relaunches to get those new number ones out, you know?
Batman, but he's gay, number 1. What's the difference?
I'd read it.
So what are your thoughts on this movie?
I like it. I think the fact that Clark waits so long to tell Lois is really weird to me. But aside from that, I think it's a pretty solid adaptation of the graphic novel for the most part. I mean, obviously, it's very different in the parts that don't directly involve Doomsday. Yeah. But, like, I feel like it inserts more of a story than what the comic has, because the comic's basically just, like, Superman being interviewed by a reporter who's like, "You're so much better than the Justice League," and he's like, no.
Hey, you see Batman? He has a cool cape.
Yeah, exactly. He's like, "No, they're great. Shut up." And then he, obviously, the whole point of the comic kind of proves it wrong since he takes out Doomsday by himself. It's also, like, it doesn't have no one else that you would expect from the Justice League, like, tries to fight Doomsday, like Batman or Wonder Woman or Green Lantern or anyone. It's like, they send in, like, the kind of, like, C-list group of heroes, like Booster Gold, Blue Beetle.
Blue Beetle, go get him! You can do it by yourself!
And there's a few more that I'm not
Where's
as familiar
Beast Boy?
with. No, Beast Boy wasn't in there. It's like Green Flame. There's like this like sorcerer guy, and yeah, there's a couple of them. I haven't read their runs, but yeah, it was okay. Like, I think the movie's pretty good.
Cool. I really like this movie. I think I liked it a little more this time around. Not like immensely more, but I think I got a little more out of it. Maybe because I've seen all of the things around it now, and I just like Superman as a character now more. Mostly because of this movie. I think this movie you humanizes him, like makes him feel like an everyday guy again. Which, like,
yeah,
I feel like a lot of his content fails to do, at least in like TV and movies. I think Smallville was okay. You ever seen Smallville?
No,
I've seen like 6 episodes of Smallville.
I'm thinking about going through. The one that I want to watch first is Lois and Clark: The New Adventures of Superman. I'm thinking about going through that series. I've heard pretty decent things about it. I think it's from like maybe the late 90s, early 2000s. It's
that's a good name.
Don't know much about
Lois and Clark. That's a good name.
Yeah, I think the series like primary focuses obviously on their relationship, and like kind of puts cool. like the superhero stuff second. So it's like, oh, that seems kind of fun. I'll check that out. I've seen like clips from it, and it looks like a fun little series.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Thomas, you're going to give this movie a 6.
You're going to give it an 8.
Correct. I think it was like kind of getting close to a 9. Like it's an upper 8 for me, I think. I was thinking about it. I'm like, I really like this movie. I have a lot of fun with it whenever I watch it. But an 8 to be sure. I think it's the second best movie in the DC animated universe continuity from this series. The first being Son of Batman. Not true. That movie's fucking awful.
I'll take your word for it. I haven't seen that one.
We can watch it if you want.
Maybe one day. Not today, though.
Now that we're a DC-only podcast.
Oh, yeah. On one condition. We never cover the Snyder movies.
We have to do the Snyder cut.
No, it'll be like our ET to like the AVGN, where it's like we'll save it for a special occasion.
We'll make a movie.
And the movie will be about us watching that movie. The movie's just literally like us watching the movie and then our commentary afterwards.
And usually when I actually watch a movie, I don't talk that much. So it'll just be me kind of like... It'll just be a face cam of me going like... For
or like
4 hours straight.
Or a part that's just so jarringly unhuman that you're like...
Oh! Whoa!
But yeah. No, it's...
Did somebody say the door to darkness?
That's my line in the sand. We can't cover the Snyder movies.
None of them?
Huh?
Not Batman vs. Superman Ultimate Edition?
No.
It's so bad. It's the worst superhero movie I've ever seen.
Oh, I'm sure.
Legitimately. It's like... Maybe it'd be a little better if I didn't watch the Ultimate Edition, but I had heard it was better. That version was better, so I'm like, I'll try it. Oh. I just want to watch good things. And that's not true. I can't keep lying to myself. I don't want to watch just good things. I love watching garbage. I have to embrace that fact.
Yeah, I don't know what to tell you. I mean, You're
the same way. You have seen more full moon movies than me. But you've also watched them at like 1.8 speed or whatever the fuck you said.
Yeah.
Well, I sat there and I suffered through all of the runtime at 1 speed.
And I hope you had fun with that.
I didn't. Well, I guess I did. I talk about it so much. I've been lying to myself for so long. It's just like, I love watching garbage. I just love it. It fills me with anger. Like, yeah, it's really fun to feel angry at, like, the world for being a world that produces 13 Puppet Master movies.
Yeah, no, it's like, there's certainly, like, it feels like sometimes it's just like, there's so much potential. I feel like movies that go through productions rarely ever live up to, like, the expectations. Not saying that there aren't, like... Well, not... I'm talking about, like, big, like, superhero movies in, like, particular. Like... And just, like, kind of, like, big budget projects. Like, how many, like, big flops do you know about that were, like, just kind of too overly, like, ambitious? And it's like, I wish that... I don't know. I'm kind of going off into a tangent here, I guess. That's kind of off topic.
It's fine. We haven't started yet.
Fucking... I don't know. I just feel like it's so unfair that there's so much, like, good shit that doesn't ever get made. But there's a lot of just really bad shit that gets made, is my overall point that I was trying to make there.
I think that's why I actually really like that DC produces so many animated movies. Like, there are a lot of bad DC animated movies, but there's a lot of good ones, and there's a lot of storylines that, like, that are introduced to me and a lot of people through the movies. And yeah. It's like Marvel, their animated movies, first of all, are usually awful. And second of all, don't come out very often. And I feel like usually are newer, like, they don't follow, like, big plot lines or anything. They're just like, let's do a random thing. Let's have them fight one guy for 70 minutes. And I just like, I don't understand. Marvel has so much money. And now they're at least making more shows, but I'm like, still like, why don't you make more animated movies? Like,
probably because they don't view animation as a medium for any age above the age of, like, fucking, like, 10, probably.
I guess
if, I don't know. It's probably Disney, so they're just like, most of their animation is probably just, they're too safe with it, maybe? I don't know. I don't know what their problem would be.
We'll see what they do in the future, I suppose. Oh.
Yeah, because, like, DC's been doing pretty well with these movies. You think they'd, like, look over and be like, we could make more money if we did this.
They could. But, especially because they have Disney Plus. And, like, the DC streaming service does not exist anymore. I'm pretty sure. Because I think they're all on HBO Max now.
Yeah.
It might exist as a comic service now, because that was, like, where I read all those DC comics as well. Because I had the streaming service, and you could also read comics. It was nice just to be able to, like, read comics on my TV. Like, it was fun. I could just go, boop, boop, and it was nice and big and HD. That was cool. Anyway, let's talk about Reign of the Supermen. Not as good as I remember. I didn't remember it being great, but I enjoyed it the first time. It's just, I feel like Reign of the Supermen has zero emotional weight to it in comparison to Death of the Superman.
Yeah, no, it really does. Like, in the comics, there's, like, this whole, like, fucking, like, 300 chunk thing of material that's just, like, focusing on the grieving period of, like, the DC universe after Superman's death. And this movie is just, like, Lois and Wonder Woman having, like, a coffee, and they're like, you don't want to mourn, do you? Good. Because I'm not good at that kind of stuff. And then they just, like, move on.
Which, like, I will say that was, like, probably, I think the scene's fine, like, in general. I think it's one of the better scenes in the movie. I don't think this movie's, like, terrible or anything, but
I don't either.
It's just kind of disappointing because of so many ideas are there, so many ways to go, and it's just like, let's just bring it back.
Yeah, I mean...
So, in the storyline, there are 4 new Supermen that emerge. There's one that's young. He keeps being called Superboy. There's one
Eradicator.
that is... Yeah, Eradicator. There's one called Steel, which is like Superman in a robot suit. And then there's one that looks like Superman, but is like a cyborg as well. Turns out that none of them are the real Superman. And actually, the real Superman is in the spaceship in his Fortress of Solitude, slowly being regenerated by Eradicator, who, although is the worst and is breaking people's arms, is actually trying to be good and is like a hologram that's trying to resurrect Superman. And the bad one is the cyborg Superman, who was sent here by Darkseid. And what? It's not actually cyborg Superman. It's Hank Henshaw, the astronaut from the first movie.
Yeah.
I will say that I like how Hank Henshaw didn't get a redemption. Like, they just killed him.
Yeah.
I think that's funny. They're like, because there's so many times where like, Hank, I'm sorry I didn't save your... Like, they could have done that already, but instead he's just like, I know I can't kill you. But then he kills... What? Superman says, I know I can't kill you, but I have a secret weapon. And then he stabs him in the head so that Eradicator can kill him through his mind. And I'm like, that is... I don't know what kind of loopholes you're saying that's not you killing him, but that's definitely you killing him.
Yeah. That's like saying, like, taking it, like, quite literally. Like, oh, I didn't kill the person, the gun killed the person. And I know that's just kind of like an inverse of that stupid fucking, oh, guns don't kill people, people kill people, but...
Bullets kill people.
It's just like all fucking stupid, I guess. But I don't know.
I mostly just thought that scene was funny. But Darkseid has this plan to get the cyborg Superman to convince everyone he's the real Superman. He does this by trapping all the Justice League in a portal that's in some like hell dimension off in the far reaches of space. And then he's like, I'm Superman. I saved the president. And then he's like, I want everyone to be heroes. So if you join me, I'll make you a cool cyborg. And a bunch of people were like, I want to take a stand. And this guy, Brad, I think his name was Brad. He's like, I'm going to do it. And his girlfriend is just like, what?
I think it was Eric.
Eric, that's right.
Yeah.
It was Eric. He's like, I'm going to do it. She's like, what? I do think that delivery was pretty good because she's literally just so shocked. She's like, excuse me?
Yeah, he's like, don't worry, it'll be great for us. And then
immediately she doesn't see him for 4 days. And then she's like, hey, how are you? And he's like, hello, Sarah. And this is when Superman's best friend, Bebo or whatever, shows up again. He's like, we gotta take a stand against these robots. I gotta figure out what this guy's fucking name was.
Oh. Yeah. But
it was Bebo.
So basically, Lois Lane teams up with Steel and Superboy. And Superboy is like a genetic clone of Superman and Lex Luthor. And yeah, so she teams up with them to kind of like try and put a stop to cyborg Superman's reign of terror.
I just saw the voice for Lois Lane in these movies. I didn't actually know this. I hadn't been paying attention to her like voice actress. That's Mystique in the original X-Men movies.
Oh, huh.
It's pretty cool.
It's a neat little fact.
Pretty neato.
But oh shit, where was I?
I'm sorry.
I don't remember.
I was reading. I wasn't listening.
I can't hear you.
That's
Are you talking?
No.
I mean, clearly you're not talking now.
I'm not talking. I think I said I'm sorry, and it didn't pick up, but I'm talking now.
There we go. Okay. But anyway, so they team up, and they eventually figure out this, like, hey, Superman's alive, because Steel finds, like, the Fortress of Solitude. And finds the, what's his name? The Exterminator?
Eradicator.
The Eradicator. Yes, they
guarding
find him.
Kal-El's ship.
Yeah, so him and Steel fight, and then Darkseid sends down his little army to invade, and then Lois fucking aggravates Cyborg Superman, and he like pulls out his little control chip and takes control of the robot army and like shuts out Darkseid. And then Superman wakes up and he's like, okay, here we go. We're gonna go.
He's like, but I'm just a regular dude right now, so I gotta bring my gun.
Yeah. So they go and they fight, and then like Lois uses the gun, she shoots, and it's like Superboy and Steel are like both just fighting fodder down with like the robot army.
And the Justice League comes back with Lex Luthor. They're all fighting, and then the sun restores Superman's powers.
There we go.
And Superman had brought the crystal that the Eradicator lives in, and he shoves it in.
He's like, we need a wild card. And he's just fucking brains him with it. And yeah. There we go.
Yeah, there's a lot of kind of silly stuff in this movie. I don't think this movie's particularly good. I didn't think it was...
I enjoy it. I think it's fine.
I think it's corny as all hell. But I think it's decent. I'll say that. But I do think it's worse on a second watch. Probably. And I think it's just so much lost potential. And it's just unfortunate that like none of the four Supermen really feel like they have much character. Especially Steel, which Steel's the only one that had like a character in the previous movie. Like he was only introduced as like a fan, but at least he was like, I don't know. I was hoping for more from Steel, but it feels like he's not. I don't know. I want a Steel movie. I like Steel. I want more Steel. Movie. They made a Steel movie?
Yeah.
Max Steel.
Like, I'm pretty sure they made, like, a live-action Steel movie in, like, the fucking 90s or something.
Oh, they did? Yeah. Is that the same character?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. I don't know if it'll reference Superman in the movie. I don't know if they got, like, the rights to do that part necessarily. But I'm pretty sure they made a movie about him.
Yeah, it's Shaq.
Yeah.
It was produced by DC. I know what we're watching next.
I didn't hear any of what you just said. It all cut out.
I know what we're watching next.
Uh-oh.
Just kidding. You got the next pick. It does have a 1.4. Maybe I should put that in the back.
And maybe.
Alrighty. What will I say about this movie good-wise? I do like the black suit for Superman when he comes out. I like his hair okay. I'm not a fan of the stubble that just looks like they just put a gradient on his face. But yeah. I kind of like his outfit and his look. It's kind of decent. Some of the action's still pretty good. I think that a lot of that emotional weight's completely absent from the movie. But it's got its moments.
I think I didn't really like what they did with it, but I think that the Superboy plotline had a lot of potential that they didn't quite tap into.
Yeah, it doesn't really go anywhere, and I can't remember if Superboy's ever in the... I think he's in Apocalypse War for a bit, but like they don't utilize these characters very much after this. Which obviously the only ones they would be like Superboy and Steel, which I think they're in Apocalypse War, but Apocalypse War is insane. Like, yeah, it's crazy. Yeah, you'll eventually see it. So, let's see what else. I do think that I don't know what it was. I think the animation's a little worse than in Death of Superman. Especially,
yeah, there are some wonky points.
Yeah, I don't know why, but
yeah, there's one point where like Lois had like off-center eyes.
Yeah, and there was I think one scene in Death of Superman where Superman kind of his eyes were a little weird looking, but other than that, I didn't have any issues with that movie. This one, there were a few times where I'm like, what's going on here?
Yeah.
It's not a big deal, though.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it just in general, I feel like a lot of the characters are just a little lacking. Hank Henshaw's... I like the exploration of the idea that he's like, I lost my wife, I'm fucking crazy now, but I don't know. In general, it just doesn't really feel like this movie has an interesting antagonist.
I feel.
And, like, the first one doesn't really have an interesting antagonist in the sense that, like, Doomsday's not interesting as a character, but the whole situation surrounding him and, like, Clark Kent as a human being, I think is a lot more interesting. While this one has some of those ideas, because it's like, hey, it's Superman. It's Superboy. He's like, I'm Superman. You know, there are those ideas that just aren't elevated very well. Yeah.
Yeah, I'd agree.
But yeah, that's what I thought of the movie.
Would give this one a 6.
No, I gave it a 6 on the first watch.
Oh. 5?
Yeah, I give it a 5. Like, I didn't hate it or anything, but I think you would also give this a 5.
No, I'd probably give it a 6.
Okay. I was going between a 6, but I'm like, you probably like Death of Superman more than this, but maybe not.
I would probably say I did.
Okay.
But not by like that
a
much.
whole point. Got it.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we've done it again. We have finished another exciting episode, and that means once I move this Xbox controller, that it's time to roll the dice.
Yep.
To see if we get a bag. It's a 9. Never getting another bag again.
I hope not.
So, what are we watching, Thomas?
I guess let's do that Green Lantern Wonder Woman thing since we're a DC podcast now.
Okay, so we're going to be watching Wonder Woman from 2009. This is by Lauren Montgomery, who she's done a decent amount of stuff as well. She was the other director for Batman Year One. And she did Superman Batman Apocalypse, which was decent, and she did Justice League Crisis on Two Earths, which is okay. But so Wonder Woman from 2009, and then there's technically 2 Green Lantern movies. We're just going to cover the 2009 one as well, though, because I think both of them are origin films, and they came out like 2 years apart. So Green Lantern First Flight, also by Lauren Montgomery. She made both of these in the same year.
Okay.
I think they're both available on HBO Max. And wherever you buy or rent your stuff. Yeah, DC only podcast, baby! Until we get to being a Puppet Master only podcast, baby!
Full Moon only podcast.
Classic. I'm down. 2022.
Should we just
Only
start doing
full moon.
like eras where we just like we're like welcome to the DC era of the podcast, where we only cover DC.
For like 2 months, and then the next 2 months, it's like, just Puppet, just Full Moon, we're gonna watch every Killjoy movie. The thing is, we'd have to rewatch Full Moon movies, because we've seen some of them.
No!
No! For the love of God!
No, we can't do that. Never mind.
We'll watch, all the Asylum movies. We'll watch Sharknado.
Wow. All 5 of them? There's probably more.
I think there's
Is
6.
there more than that?
There's 5 or 6. But they're done with Sharknado, I'm pretty sure.
Oh, thank God. And until, like...
Shark Hurricane.
Until they deem enough time has passed for them to, like, bring it back and do, like, the direct sequel to the first one.
Well, they can do Sharkano now. They can do a Shark Volcano.
There we go. I would watch that.
Shastroid. It's a shark asteroid.
How about a big space megalodon? But it's like bigger than a megalodon. It's just megalodons for the sake of a name.
We should watch The Meg for the podcast.
I'm not a big Jason Statham fan.
I get it. I'm fine with them, but I get it. Anyway, thanks for watching the podcast. Tune in next week where we do more.
Yep. This is the DC era. Get ready for it.
Bye, everyone.
Goodbye. Goodbye.